The frozen woods stretched endlessly, a silent expanse of white that sparkled under the pale winter sun. Tall, bare trees loomed overhead, their branches heavy with sparkling frost. The air was crisp and biting, each breath visible as a plume of mist. It was a place both beautiful and eerie, where nature's beauty masked its hidden dangers. In the heart of this winter wonderland wandered Mia, a curious and adventurous woman who had always felt a strong connection to the great outdoors. She loved exploring the woods, especially in winter when they transformed into a magical kingdom of snow and ice. However, today was different. The wind howled through the trees, creating an unsettling sound that made her shiver, not from the cold, but from an instinct deep within her. As she walked carefully over the crunching snow, Mia's mind danced with thoughts of survival and adventure. She felt at home among the towering pines, but there was also a sense of foreboding in the air. Something about the stillness made her uneasy. The birds had gone silent, and even the rustling animals seemed to have vanished. It was as if the woods were holding their breath. Suddenly, her sharp eyes caught a glimpse of something unusual in the distance, a flash of color against the endless white. Curiosity piqued. She moved closer, careful not to disturb the peaceful quiet around her. As she approached, her heart raced. What lay ahead was not just a trick of the light, but two figures lying in the snow. Mia gasped as she recognized them, soldiers. They looked abandoned and vulnerable, their uniforms tattered and their bodies partially covered in snow. A wave of concern washed over her. She hurried toward them, her boots sinking into the soft snow with each step. "Hey, can you hear me?" she called out, kneeling beside them. Their faces were pale, lips blue with cold. Panic surged through her as she realized how dire their situation was. This was no ordinary day in the frozen woods. Lives depended on her quick thinking and courage. The decision weighed heavily on her. Should she attempt to help them or seek safety? Mia knelt beside the two soldiers, her heart racing as she took in their condition. The first soldier, a man with dark hair matted against his forehead, had his eyes closed, face pale and gaunt. She could see he was struggling to breathe, his chest rising and falling with uneven gasps. The second soldier lay just a short distance away. Their uniform was tattered, and the snow around him was stained red. Panic gripped her. They needed help fast. "Can you hear me?" she called again, her voice trembling slightly. She placed her hand on the shoulder of the first soldier, hoping to stir him awake. There was no response. Fear washed over her. Had they already passed the point of no return? She looked around anxiously, weighing her options. The woods felt endless and isolating. The wind howled through the trees as if warning her of lurking dangers nearby. Despite knowing there were other people in the area during military exercises, she felt utterly alone in this frozen landscape. Mia's instincts kicked in as she gathered herself. She needed to act quickly. She examined the soldiers more closely, searching for any signs of life. Gently shaking the first soldier again, she felt a faint pulse beneath her fingers. A small flicker of hope ignited within her. But she couldn't just wait there. If they stayed too long in this cold, they would surely succumb to hypothermia. With determination, Mia pulled off her gloves and placed her hands against the cheeks of the unconscious soldier. "Stay with me. You're going to be okay," she urged him, feeling a mix of fear and resolve surge through her. She turned her focus to the second soldier. His pulse was weaker but present. She quickly checked for any injuries and realized he was bleeding, not too heavily, but enough that time was critical. Mia knew she had to move them back to a warmer area, or at least create some shelter from the cold wind. With each passing moment, doubt crept into her mind. Was it safe for her to stay? Would anyone else find them? In that moment of uncertainty, an unexpected sound echoed through the woods, pulling her attention away from the soldiers, footsteps approaching through the snow. Mia's heart raced as the sound of footsteps grew louder, echoing ominously through the trees. Every instinct told her to flee, to protect herself from whatever danger was approaching. But then she looked at the two soldiers lying helplessly in the snow, their lives hanging in the balance. The weight of her decision crashed down on her. Could she really leave them behind? She glanced around nervously, weighing her options. The woods felt like a maze of shadows and whispers, with each gust of wind carrying a sense of foreboding. Who was coming? Would they be friend or foe? She had no way of knowing if she would be risking her own life by staying there, yet abandoning the soldiers felt unbearable. Mia took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. In that moment, clarity struck her. She couldn't just walk away knowing they needed help. As much as fear clawed at her insides, something deeper urged her to act. It was more than just duty. It was compassion. The soldiers had fought for their country. Now they were at their most vulnerable. Another sound broke the stillness, a snap of a twig nearby. The footsteps were closer now. Mia's mind raced with thoughts of what to do next. If she stayed, could she protect them? And if she ran, would she be leaving them to die? Those questions spun in her head like a whirlwind. "Stay with me," she whispered urgently to the first soldier while glancing back toward the direction of the noise. She needed to buy them time but knew she couldn't do this alone. Her heart sank when she realized that if whoever was coming found them together, it could complicate things even further. Suddenly, an idea sparked within her. A plan began forming in her mind. If she could create some kind of cover for the soldiers while making sure they were still safe, maybe it would buy precious minutes until help arrived, or until she could move them. But how could she manage it? Using fallen branches and snow-covered brush nearby, Mia started gathering materials quickly but quietly, all while keeping an eye out for any sign of who might be drawing near. The uncertainty loomed over her like a cloud. Time was running out for all three of them. As Mia hurriedly gathered branches and brush to create a makeshift cover for the soldiers, a sudden rustle in the underbrush made her freeze. Her heart pounded in her chest as she peered into the snowy gloom, half expecting a threat to materialize. But instead, a figure emerged from the trees, a man clad in tactical gear, with dark sunglasses reflecting the dim light. The moment she saw his emblem, her tension eased slightly. He was a Navy SEAL. "Stay down," he called out, his voice firm yet calm as he assessed the scene. He quickly surveyed the unconscious soldiers before turning his attention to Mia. What happened here? Mia felt a rush of relief mixed with urgency as she explained their situation. "They're hurt. One is struggling to breathe and the other is bleeding. We need to move them." She gestured toward the soldiers, her hands trembling slightly from adrenaline and cold. The SEAL nodded, his expression focused yet compassionate. "Let's get them covered first. We can't let them freeze." He moved swiftly, helping Mia gather more branches while keeping an eye on their surroundings. His presence made her feel safe. He exuded confidence that comforted her tingling nerves. They worked together efficiently, creating a sturdy barrier of snow and wood around the two soldiers. The SEAL quickly checked both of them for injuries, his trained hands moving expertly over each body. His demeanor changed slightly as he gently lifted the second soldier's shirt to reveal the wound, a deep gash that required immediate attention. "We have to get them back to camp," he told Mia decisively. "Can you help me carry them?" Before she could respond, another loud crack in the forest drew their attention. The seal raised his hand for silence, signaling for Mia to stay still. They listened intently as more footsteps approached, this time accompanied by voices murmuring just beyond their sight. "Stay low," he murmured as they crouched behind their makeshift cover. Their hearts beat together in the stillness, both knowing that whoever was coming could change everything. As shadows moved closer, Mia felt a mix of fear and determination wash over her again. The seal's calm presence steadied her resolve. They would protect these soldiers no matter what happened next. Together, they were ready to face whatever danger lurked in the frozen woods. As the footsteps drew closer, the seal turned to Mia with a determined, "Look." "We don't have much time," he said urgently. "We need a plan. Can you stay calm and follow my lead?" Mia nodded, feeling a renewed sense of purpose wash over her. She could see the focus in his eyes, and it encouraged her. "What do we do?" she asked, her voice steadying. "We'll need to get the soldiers bundled up and move them away from here before whoever is out there finds us," he explained. "I'll take the one who's bleeding. You can handle the other." Mia swallowed hard, but she recognized the necessity of acting quickly. She helped the seal gently secure the soldier who was struggling to breathe, wrapping him tightly in branches and snow to conserve warmth. Meanwhile, she checked the second soldier for additional injuries to ensure he was stable enough for transport. "Let's create a diversion," he suggested suddenly, glancing around. "I'll make some noise to draw attention away from us while you move them." Mia nodded again, excited by the thought of an escape plan. "What kind of noise?" "Just something to catch their eyes. Maybe I can knock over some branches or even shout to mislead them." He glanced at her with a reassuring smile. "Trust me, it's going to work." Feeling adrenaline pumping through her veins, Mia helped position both soldiers as comfortably as possible on their makeshift stretchers made of branches and clothing. She scanned their surroundings while keeping her ears alert for any sounds signaling danger. "All right," the seal said, taking a deep breath. "On 3, I'll create the distraction, and then we move." Mia clenched her fists in determination. 1, 2, 3. The seal burst forward into the underbrush, crashing into branches and calling out loudly in a commanding voice that echoed through the frozen woods. "Hey, over here!" His voice was powerful and firm, instantly drawing attention. Mia's heart raced as she carefully lifted her soldier onto her back and moved as quietly as possible toward a small grove of trees nearby, where they could hide momentarily from view. She focused on steadying her footing in the snow while keeping an eye on the seal as he drew closer to where the noises echoed. As she reached cover behind a thick tree, Mia prayed fervently that their plan would work and that they would soon be safe from whoever was lurking in the woods. They needed strength and courage now more than ever. Lives depended on their quick actions and teamwork. Mia took a deep breath, preparing herself as she lifted the soldier onto her back and carefully stepped away from their makeshift cover. The seal was already sprinting through the underbrush, crashing through the snow with purpose. "Stay low," he called over his shoulder, his voice steady even in the chaos. Heart pounding, Mia moved quickly but cautiously, trying to keep quiet while navigating the thick snow. Every crunch underfoot felt like it echoed in the stillness around them, and she prayed that they could make it without being noticed. With each step, she focused on the warmth of the soldier's body against her back, willing him to hold on. The seal paused momentarily at the edge of a thicket, looking back to ensure Mia was following. She saw his determined expression and felt reassured. He was leading them to safety. They were near a grove of trees that appeared denser, a perfect spot for shelter. "Right through here," he beckoned, gesturing for her to follow him into the thicket. As they slipped through the branches, Mia noticed how the foliage could obscure them from anyone searching nearby. The shadows offered a sense of security amid their dire situation. Once they reached a clearing deep within the grove, Mia carefully set the soldier down on a patch of soft snow and pulled off her gloves to check him over again. The seal knelt next to her and immediately began assessing injuries, his face focused but calm. "He's stable for now. We need to keep him warm," he said, before turning his attention to Mia's other soldier. "Can you help me with this one?" He motioned quickly as he pulled out medical supplies from his pack. Mia nodded, her adrenaline coursing through her veins as they worked side by side. She heard faint noises in the distance, voices growing clearer with each passing second, and knew they had little time. As they bandaged wounds and tucked their soldiers in tightly with whatever layers they could spare, Mia's eyes darted toward the sound of approaching footsteps. "Will they find us?" she whispered anxiously. "We can't let them," he replied firmly, his voice reassuring but urgent. "We'll have to wait until it's safe to move again." With determination, they finished bandaging and prepared themselves for what might come next. Resolute and united in their goal, Mia and the seal shared a glance that conveyed their unspoken agreement. They would see this rescue mission through together, no matter what dangers lay ahead in the frozen woods. As Mia and the seal finished bandaging the soldiers' wounds, a deep sense of camaraderie began to blossom between them. The urgency of their situation had pushed them to work together seamlessly, but beneath that was an unfolding bond built on shared determination and empathy for the injured men. While working, Mia glanced at the soldier she had carefully set down on the snow. His pale face was etched with pain, but she felt reassured by the steady rise and fall of his chest. "I hope you're okay," she whispered softly to him, as if her words could somehow reach him through the cold. The seal noticed her quiet concern and smiled slightly, understanding how difficult it was for Mia to witness their suffering. "You're doing great," he encouraged her, admiration evident in his voice. "They're lucky to have you here." Mia felt warmth spread through her at his words. Even in such a dire situation, moments like this gave her strength. It reminded her that people often rally in the face of adversity, showing kindness when it is needed most. "Why did you join the military?" she asked suddenly, wanting to learn more about this brave man beside her. This simple question laid ground for a deeper connection amidst their high-stakes environment. The seal hesitated briefly before responding. "I wanted to serve my country and help people," he replied thoughtfully. "It's about more than just fighting. It's about protecting those who can't protect themselves." His eyes sparkled with passion as he spoke. Mia felt a stirring in her heart. She saw reflected in him what she loved about adventure, the spirit of helping others and making a difference, no matter how daunting the challenge. "I think that's amazing," she said sincerely, feeling proud to stand beside someone like him. As they shared fleeting glances and quick smiles while tending to their task, Mia realized this mission wasn't just about rescuing two soldiers. It was also forging an unbreakable bond with this seal who risked his life for those he had never met. Just then, they both froze at the sound of footsteps again in the distance, closer now than before, and instinctively locked eyes. The knowledge that they were now in this together united them further. They had come too far. No matter what happened next, they would support each other with courage and commitment. In those chilling woods, a strong connection had blossomed under the weight of fear and hope. After what felt like an eternity, the footsteps faded into the distance, leaving Mia and the seal in a tense silence. The immediate threat had passed, but their hearts still raced from adrenaline. They exchanged relieved glances, knowing they had successfully protected the soldiers for now. "Let's move them," the seal said, his voice steady and calm as he assessed the situation again. Together, they carefully lifted the soldiers onto makeshift stretchers crafted from branches and snow-covered clothing. Every movement was deliberate, each action infused with purpose. As they began to trek back through the woods, Mia couldn't help but glance at her soldier. His face was still pale, but there was a flicker of life returning to him. She felt a wave of hope wash over her. Perhaps they would make it after all. The journey back was slow and arduous. The snow crunched beneath their feet, and every now and then, they paused to listen for any signs of danger. The seal led with confidence, navigating through the trees, while Mia followed closely behind, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and determination. Finally, after what seemed like hours, they reached a small clearing where a military camp came into view. Soldiers were milling about, preparing for their next mission. Relief flooded through Mia as she saw familiar faces. Help was within reach. They approached the camp cautiously, but quickly caught the attention of nearby guards. "We have injured!" the seal called out urgently. A team rushed forward to assist them as Mia gently set her soldier down. As medical personnel took over, Mia felt herself relax for the first time since discovering them in the woods. She watched as doctors worked swiftly to stabilize both soldiers, checking vitals and administering care with practiced precision. Amidst the flurry of activity, Mia noticed a familiar figure approaching, the commanding officer of the unit she had once worked with during volunteer missions. He looked at her with surprise and gratitude. "Mia, what happened?" "It was chaos in there," she explained breathlessly, recounting their desperate mission to save the soldiers. Her heart swelled with pride as she spoke. She had faced danger head-on and made a real difference. The seal stood beside her, nodding in agreement as they shared their story with those around them. The bond forged in those frozen woods deepened even further as they realized how crucial teamwork had been in saving lives that day. As night fell over the camp and warmth spread from campfires nearby, Mia reflected on everything that had happened. The fear, bravery, and connection created between herself and the seal during their rescue mission. They had not only saved lives, but also discovered strength within themselves that would stay with them long after this day ended. As the warmth of the campfire enveloped Mia, she found herself lost in thought, reflecting on the day's harrowing events. She stared into the flickering flames, each spark reminding her of the moments that had tested her courage and resilience. The rescue mission had begun as a simple adventure, but had quickly transformed into a life-changing experience. Mia realized how far she had come since she first set foot in the woods. No longer just an adventurous explorer, she was now someone who had faced her fears head-on and emerged stronger for it. The urgency and chaos of saving those soldiers had awakened a sense of purpose within her that she hadn't known existed. Helping them had ignited a passion for service that resonated deeply with her. She glanced at the seal, who was speaking with other soldiers nearby. He exuded confidence and strength, characteristics Mia admired immensely. Their shared experience had not only created a bond between them, but also inspired her to look beyond herself and consider how she could make a difference in the world. She thought about the bravery they both displayed while navigating danger and uncertainty, a bravery that now felt part of her identity. Mia's mind drifted to the soldiers they saved. They were not just victims of circumstance. They were individuals with families and dreams, all relying on others for their safety. This realization hit Mia hard. It sparked a desire within her to advocate for those who couldn't fight for themselves, to be an agent of change in whatever way she could. In the days following their rescue, Mia found herself reflecting on what she wanted to do next, how she could channel this new sense of clarity and purpose into action. Perhaps it was time to volunteer more actively or even pursue training to help others in crisis situations like this one. As night began to blanket the camp with darkness, Mia understood that this experience would forever shape who she was destined to become. She felt grateful for the SEALs' partnership during their ordeal. It taught her not only about teamwork, but also about trust and vulnerability. With newfound resolve, Mia decided that this wouldn't be just another story to tell. It would mark the beginning of a journey toward making meaningful contributions in her community and beyond. The frozen woods may have been harsh, but they led her to discover strengths within herself that would guide her future endeavors, making every moment worth it. As the night deepened and the stars twinkled above the military camp, Mia felt a profound sense of closure settling over her. The events of the day had unfolded like a whirlwind, pushing her to the edge and forcing her to confront not only the dangers of the frozen woods, but also her own capabilities. She had entered those woods as an adventurer seeking excitement, but she was leaving with something far more valuable, a renewed sense of purpose and a commitment to serve others. Mia looked around at the bustling camp, where soldiers were recovering from their rigorous training, unaware of how close they came to losing their comrades. She felt grateful for each one of them, knowing that they trained tirelessly to protect those who could not protect themselves. In that moment, she recognized that everyone plays a role in making the world a safer place, whether through service, bravery, or kindness. The bond she formed with the SEAL now felt like a lifeline. They had come together against all odds and supported each other when it mattered most. Their shared experience would forever be etched in her memory, guiding her actions in the future. Mia knew that this was just the beginning. She wanted to carry forward what she had learned from both him and the soldiers they rescued. Inspiration surged within her as she imagined how she could contribute to society. Mia envisioned volunteering at local shelters or organizing community safety workshops. She even toyed with the idea of pursuing training in emergency response, anything that would allow her to be there for others in times of need. As she stood by the campfire once more, watching flames flicker against the dark sky, Mia realized that fear would no longer hold her back. The journey through those frozen woods had taught her more than survival. It had instilled in her an unwavering resolve to make a difference. With newfound clarity and determination, Mia made a silent promise to herself. She would honor the lives she played a part in saving by dedicating herself to helping others. The path ahead would be challenging, but she felt ready to embrace whatever came next. In reflecting on her adventure, Mia understood that some stories are not just about challenges overcome, but also about personal growth and transformation. Her heart swelled with pride as she thought about how far she had come and how much further she still had to go. Armed with courage and compassion, Mia was ready to step into her future, one filled with purpose, connection, and endless possibilities.